Hey, yo, viewers, George here to do another Talking About Professional Things. Of course, this time we are talking about Castle Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. This is the remake that Sega did, and my God, there's a bit of a mixed emotion with it. But I'll tell you right now, overall, I love the game and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now let's get into the nitty gritties. So if you've never heard of Castle Illusions before, basically what it is way back when on the original Genesis system, there's this game that came out. It's called Castle Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse, and it was really good. It's a good game, as were a lot of older Disney games at the time. So people really liked it, and over the years it just sort of continued to grow in its popularity, sort of like how DuckTales is like a steadily well-known and enjoyed classic. Castle of Illusions was also one of those kind of games that sort of grew in its popularity over time. Especially back then, everyone loved it too. So this remake, of course, is coming out, and how does it really fare? Now, although I did say I really did like it, there are definitely a couple problems with it, and it has a lot to sort of live up, especially considering, a month ago, basically, we had the DuckTales remaster that came out, and just a quick little side note to that game's really fun too. It's really good if you haven't tried it. Wait for it, it's fantastic. Going back to Castle Illusion now. How does it fare? It's easier. It feels a lot easier than the original Castle of Illusions. Because I was able to breeze through it, and, this almost became less of a first impression, more of like, I played the fucking game entirely. But, because, like, right now I'm at the final boss. I'm confronting Marzabella. There's no need for spoiler warnings, because you know who you're going to be facing off with. But, like, I'm at that last bit, and of course, that's where the game sort of, like, cranks up the volume. Like, you'll breeze through this game no problem, for the most part. And then you get up to the last boss, and then it's sort of, like, is where it gets really difficult. So, forewarning, that's where the difficulty is. It steadily rises, but it rises at such a perfect pace that you don't feel like you're falling behind too much. But it feels like you're sort of growing as you play the game. Like you're keeping at a constant pace with it, so it's not too difficult. But like it is slowly stepping up the ante. So it's not like a breeze. You are getting better at the game as you progress through it. That's how it feels, and I really like that feeling because you do feel like you're accomplishing something because you can go through the game without too much of a problem. But even though it's giving you a lot of problems, if that makes any sense, but it gets difficult with the last bit where. Even with the last world, it takes a couple of tries to get through because they just start throwing things at you. And then, the last boss will take a while. Because there's patterns you gotta remember, and, one fuck-up could just screw everything. So, does that make the game bad, though? No, because there's a lot of really good things about this game. Voice acting, for instance, I love voice acting. I especially love Disney voice acting because I grew up with a lot of these Disney characters, and just hearing Mickey's voice, and well, actually you hear a lot of Mickey's voice, to be honest, and hearing like the narrator who narrates the game, sort of almost like in a Bastion sense, but not too much to how Bastion does it, but like it has a bit of an essence. So like when you get to certain points in the game, the narrator says things, or when you do certain things, the narrator says stuff like, Mickey fell out of the sky and landed back in the forest, this time with a playing card, or something like that. Of course, opposed to if you didn't get like a playing card, he just says that something along the lines, Mickey fell from the sky and he found himself back in the proverbial woods, or something like that. Okay, maybe it doesn't say proverbial, but I just threw that word in there. Uh, other things to mention about this game, it retains a lot of what how the old game worked. You know, in order to jump, if you want to defeat enemies, you can either throw projectiles at them, or you can jump, or you can like jump on their head and like time your jump so you hit their head. Sort of like how, like the classic DuckTales sort of thing, where like you have to hit the button in time or something like that to like, you know, bounce on the enemy, and you get like the extra boost as well. There's a bunch of little secrets you have to find. There's unlockable costumes, which is a nice little incentive to continue playing the game. And, you know, there's a bunch of collectibles, but in the way of replay value, after beating the game, would I go through to get the collectibles? Probably not as much, but with that said, I probably wouldn't protest against replaying the game either. Just the replay value of getting like little extra incentives like the costumes and like these statues that appear in the main castle hall doesn't really feel like it'd be enough to keep me to replay the game. Nevertheless though, playing the game, going through it is such a fun thing. Like when you start the game till when you finish it, you enjoy the game immensely. Because it feels like such a classic Disney thing, and the voice acting really helps that, and the way everything acts in the game is just a lot of fun. The controls are really easy to move around. Where is the controller that I can show you? There you go. So I'm playing this on the PlayStation 3, by the way, but the controls wouldn't be too different between systems, more or less. So like you got your D-pad to move around, you got the X button, which allows you to jump, and of course when you're in the air and you press again, you'll go into the butt bouncing thing. Circle and square both throw projectiles, so you know, whatever. And that's really all the controls that's really all the controls you need to know. So it's not complicated. It's like a classic 2D platformer, but there are moments where it goes into 3D platforming, which are good. Though, like any 3D platformer moment, it feels weird playing it. I can't really describe it too well, but it just feels weird when you're playing it because it doesn't feel like it should be, but at the same time it makes sense. If that makes any sense. But overall, I can't think of any problems I had with the game other than it being easier than the original. So like it won't take you that long to get through the game, but nevertheless you'll enjoy playing it. Like missing out on this is probably not that great of an idea, and it's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. It's plain and simple as that. No matter what I say, like that, it feels easier than the original game, which means it'll be a little bit shorter. But like right at the end, there's like this bit of a difficulty curve when you face the final boss. But overall, you'll enjoy the experience. But there's no replay value to it. But you probably wouldn't mind playing through the game again. It's like a mixed bag, but it is fun. I would definitely recommend playing it. Definitely recommend trying it at the very, very least. And if you've played through this game and you want more, try and find the original one. I highly recommend playing the original one because that gives you a bit more of a challenge, and it's a little more difficult too. So, with that all said and done, until next time, keep on gaming!